hello. Whoa, we got double cameras. Hello. How are you? No, this way. I'm fine, Hand. How are you doing today? I am wonderful. Thank you for asking. You are a terrible ventriloquist. Well, that's the way it be sometimes. What's going on, everybody? Pull up the chat. Brad Chan, the fanboy, hello, welcome to the stream. Sorry we're starting a little late. I had a big snafu with Firefox. It was a bit butts. Hey, Leah Bean. Hey, Amanda. So, I have done some magicry and trickery to the stream setup. We should have. Hey, look at that. Look at that little square camera over there. Look at that. That's nice. There we go. Beep 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 bop boop. And glorious 60 frames a second. It should be a lot smoother on the camera over here. Also a lot less stutters. I have everything hooked up with USB cables now rather than through the Wi-Fi. Tonight, I'm very excited. I'm going to take a sip before I make this announcement because I'm so excited. Tonight I have a very special guest with me. He's one of my favorite people in the entire world, only second to you, ANMCC. Ladies and gentlemen, the man who has been my best friend since I met him, who loves Dungeons and Dragons more than I do, and inspires me to be a better person through consistent, positive Discord chats all day long, regardless of if I am depressed or not. Christopher Bean.
Where's he at?
He should be getting here soon.
He's playing
What's
Magic.
going on, man? I'm so super jazzed and super excited to have you on the stream tonight. I wish we could. I wish I could have you on video and not just audio, but baby steps, right?
That would require more effort on my part.
That would require more effort on your part. And effort is it's a limited commodity. So tonight we are going to be talking D&D. Chris had asked me a little earlier about, some things that we were going to talk about tonight. I told him I don't know, because I rarely think about what we're going to talk about on the stream. But we're going to be painting this guy while we're talking. Oh, look at that. Hey, look at that. 4 gatherers. Thank you for following. My face is now completely obscured by emoticons. I love it. That's a new thing. I need to add some sounds to that. That doesn't seem as exciting as I'd hoped it'd been. It needs like a little yay or something. I'll work on that. We'll do that next.
You could do like a Mario sound.
Do 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 do. Like a 1-up.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. So so this bear totem. Can you see the stream, Chris? Do you have it pulled up yet?
Yeah, I have it pulled up on my phone.
Nice. So I'm not sure if you've seen any of the previous streams where we started working on this guy, but this guy has detachable hands. It's the first ones I've ever magnetized before. I bet you have a little bit of a delay in the stream.
No, I'm just bad at phones.
Oh. So this is like a bit of a challenge. I need to turn my other light on. That's what I didn't do. Yeah, there we go. I was wondering why it was so dark. But yeah, he's got detachable hands because I have these little axes that will go on to them for when he's in combat. But this is going to be Word's bear totem. He's a barbarian, and he has taken the bear totem.
The only good totem.
It really is a good totem.
The only totem.
I honestly hate that the other totems have such a bad rap, or just like a negligent rap.
Right. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, it's just like everybody else needs to plan around Wolf for it to be okay. It's like, hey guys, don't run away, be around me, so that Wolf Totem is not a waste of a class feature.
We're a pack.
That would be funny if you did like a pack of kobolds, and one of them was like a wolf totem.
And they all would have pack tactics. That would be
Well,
neat.
yeah, I guess so. So wouldn't that be like redundant? It wouldn't give you like, doesn't it just give you advantage?
I have to look it up.
I'm gonna clean off this brush because I'm a lazy boy who didn't clean off his brush last time. It's probably too late, but. So we're gonna finish painting up the bear, and I was thinking, Chris, that tonight we could finish painting the bear totem, and then maybe work on Shurg, big boy Shurg.
The big one?
Yeah.
So I searched for Wolf Totem and it was a song.
Is that the song that inspired the Three Wolf Moon t-shirt?
Oh, I hope not.
So
Alright.
Foregathers, if you are new to the stream, we're primarily a D&D stream over here. We I print and paint D&D miniatures. I'm currently going through the entire and trying to print off the entire monster manual. I have a big old spreadsheet, and I'm about. What did we decide? I'm about like a quarter to a third of the way through it. I'm at like 150 out of like 600 or something like that.
I haven't been keeping track.
I've made a decent bit of progress, and I check the spreadsheet periodically. Maybe we'll take a look at it once at the end of the stream tonight.
When you finish the bear, yeah. Make your living decks, right?
That's right. Have I shown you my spreadsheet, Chris?
I don't think so.
Ooh. Maybe we'll take a look at the spreadsheet real quick.
Yeah, there is a delay. I see you cleaning your brush. Or are you still cleaning your brush?
I'm cleaning a second brush. If you want, I can try to share my screen on Discord, and that way you could have less of a delay. Would that work better for you?
Oh, no, it's fine. I'm just looking at it for chat mostly, to be honest with you.
I gotcha. Well, when I do get to Shurg, I would like some input on how to go about painting him, because
You have the old one, right?
I do have the old one, but I'm curious about your technique.
Someone joined our channel.
Someone joined. Stefan? Stefan, are you there?
Yeah.
Trying to say, yep. There we go.
Oh boy, you're loud. But hey, man,
Hey.
welcome to the stream.
Oh, y'all streaming?
Yeah, and you are our surprise guest. Look at that, everybody. We got
My
very
bad.
good
I can
friend.
jump off if y'all don't
Nah,
listen.
We were just talking about like D&D stuff. Like
Yeah,
John's
we're
just
just
streaming.
I'm
It does.
streaming and painting a mini. You can pop the stream up if you want to like see what I'm doing. But we were just gonna talk D&D stuff while I paint.
Oh, that's right. Tonight is Saturday night. Wow, I feel like a Dugan. What a
Well-
bad friend I am.
Well, we did jump into the dungeon voice chat rather than like a stream voice chat or something.
Oh, dude, did you get another camera or something?
I've had 2 cameras for a while.
I don't know. It just looks like cleaner today.
Yeah, so I got it hooked up with a USB connection, and I have a special camera app that lets me stream it at 60 frames a second. So it should be a whole lot smoother. If it looks a whole lot nicer, thank you. That was that was the intent, and I'm glad that it's working out a little better. But yeah, tonight's like the first night that I've been able to use it. I was up till 4 o'clock in the morning one night, like figuring all this stuff out and getting all the crazy things to work. I'm so glad that Foregathers followed tonight because we got to try out the new Twitch alerts that fire off whenever somebody follows too.
Yeah, it's been good. I've been enjoying your overlays.
So this totem, one of the things that I did back in our old home game with Brad Chan is he was a gnome barbarian that had that took the bear totem, and one of the things that we did was I had him meet his totem, and he had like a little encounter with him where his totem talked with him about strength and where his strength comes from and stuff like that. And so what the idea behind this guy here is that Drew, you know Drew, Chris, because you're both in the game. I had a little talk with him outside of the game about how his characters seem to have trouble fitting in with the party, and are a little roleplay light. And he was telling me, he was like, yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge, do you have any ideas? And so I thought that something that he could benefit from was having somebody to interact with, and something like a story reason to bind his character to the party. So my thought was to pull in this bear totem who's kind of like his big papa bear, and is going to kind of have a little conversation with him about about looking after his cubs, looking after the pack, and having some kind of story reasons to kind of bind him to the party, as well as give him a moment to shine in the spotlight. Right now, Word is very like there isn't much to him, and I know that Drew is like super busy, so he doesn't have a lot of time to like come up with stuff. He doesn't have a lot of time to write backstory and whatnot. And so I find it best with players that are like that is just kind of like present them with story stuff and let them write it at the table. You know what I mean?
No, have you talked to him outside of our Thursday game already? Is that what you're saying, that you already have?
Yeah, I already have, and that's kind of what spawned this whole thing here. It was like a couple weeks ago. I was actually ready to fire all of this stuff off last Thursday, but then we got COVID and had to cancel the game.
I just thought you were going to do it anyway because you did it in your home game.
Not really, actually. It was just yeah, I don't know. I don't think I was. Maybe I was. I have a bad memory.
Fine, it's fine.
But I'm super excited for it. I really like tying. Yeah, Amanda, Ankles. Ankles is like one of my favorite characters from that game. I really like tying players' character, like class features and stuff, into the actual game rather than them just being mechanics. I feel like it's more engaging.
At least, yeah. At least gives them gives them a reason to care and not be so murder hobo.
Yeah. It also, in a way, like, you don't want to be a jerk DM about it, but it also makes, like, their class more vulnerable. You know, like, there's almost like there can be this attitude of, well, I'm a fighter, and because that's my class, so I will always be able to do this fighter stuff. Does that does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, sure.
but it's like if a fighter character were to, say, lose their arm, like, that would really affect their ability to be a fighter, or
But not a ranger.
um, and like I said, you don't want to be like a jerk DM that like takes a person's class away from them or anything like that. But it almost like, if you see your class as an impermeable part of your character, that's really gamey and not realistic, if that makes sense.
No, I agree.
There was like, have you watched much of Critical Role, Chris?
No.
It's fine if you haven't. I was just gonna make a reference. So one of the characters in the second campaign is a warlock, but it's like one of those relationships with his patron where the patron is kind of monstrous. I think he's a great old one, and is almost borderline evil. And well, actually, I think he's probably just like straight up evil. But the player ends up like, he covets the power that the warlock gives him, and uses it for good, but really hates his tie to the patron. And there's like one day where he wakes up where the patron is like saying, hey, you need to do this thing, and he's like, forget you. And so he wakes up in the inn the next day, and he can't cast spells like that whole day. Like, the patron
Whoa.
just like pulls his power from him.
All right.
Yeah. And so he's like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. And then it only lasts for like 2 or 3 hours. Like this, the patron's like trying to pull a power play. Like, I'm not going to take it from you, but I could. And it kind of plants this seed of like, I really hate my patron. He's a real big jerk. And so he like starts trying to find a way out of it, and eventually like destroys his spell focus and loses his class for like 2 or 3 in-game days. But then ends up finding another patron. So it's like, mechanically he's still a warlock. He still like retains all of his warlock stuff and all of his warlock abilities. But there's this cool story moment where like his class is taken away from him because he has this falling out with his patron. But then ends up like multi-classing into paladin because of a story thing, and then gains a celestial patron instead of a great old patron. It ends up being like Melora.
Because didn't he make?
Mercer really did that.
What'd you say? You kind of broke up a bit.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, I was saying, isn't that why they made that new paladin class, the like water one?
Yeah, the sea. The Oath of the Sea or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was just like you don't want to be a jerk DM about it, but to integrate your class and all of those things into the world, I think is a really neat concept. And one of the reasons why I like doing things like with Jack in our game, Chris, having him meet Asmodeus and actually sign his contract. And Asmodeus is going to be like checking in on him every now and again. And like with this bear totem, having Word actually meet him, and it not just being like a little thing on a piece of paper, like on his character sheet. I think that's really cool, and it adds a lot of enjoyment to the game.
It added a lot of mystery for sure, because we were like, we had no idea what happened, and it was so funny because they didn't realize they're like, because he rolled a nat 1, right? And
Yeah.
he like rolled a perception check and rolled a nat 1, and I was like, wait, that's not good. What do you mean he saw something? Minute. It was pretty fantastic, actually.
Yeah, that was one of my. I was pretty proud of that moment. I'm gonna do some bone white. What is that concede thing that you put in the chat?
Oh, it's just a Hearthstone thing I have unlocked, so I
Oh.
just did it.
You're such a goof. You painted something recently, didn't you?
Not super recently, no.
What was it though? Like, I'm trying to remember.
You made me those dudes.
The Kuatoa?
Yes. And I couldn't get a good primer for them.
Well, I only got marginally farther than you. I ended up base coating parts of some of them, but they're all just sitting on there with like various shades of green and blue on their body. I haven't really done anything with them. So I think I'm gonna finish painting his claws and some of his details, and then I think we're gonna put a wash on them. Right now, this red and yellow is looking very ketchup and mustard, and I kind of hate that.
Right.
So I'm not sure what all to do. I didn't have a fantastically solid game plan in place when I started painting him. I think the idea was to do red and then gold on the filigree or the embroidery or whatever on his leather thing. But
okay.
I kind of don't know what to do with this. It's actually flesh. It's bronze flesh tone. It's kind of like a yellowy orange. But like he's got so much brown on his body already that I didn't want to add like brown leather, because it's supposed to be like a cloth of some kind underneath the tough leathers, right? So like that's kind of like this whole style is that if you just had the armor on your skin, it would kind of rub your fur off and chafe you and stuff. So you wear like these little things underneath it to keep it from messing your skin up. But I'm not sure what to do. Like I'm not sure what material those are.
I got you.
Any ideas?
Well, I guess what I understand is this like a spirit, or is it like a real thing?
So yes and no. Like without getting into too big of a spoiler territory, he's going to kind of be from he's going to be a physical creature, but is going to be from the Beast Wilds. Is that what they're called?
I don't know. The Feywild.
No, it's its own thing. It's one of the planes of the afterlife, or the places of the afterlife. There's like the Blessed Fields of Elysium, Mount Celestia, and then there's like another one. I think it's called the Beast Wilds, which is just like this wild forest. It's like neutral good or something like that. It's on the Great Wheel cosmology.
Okay.
And so he's going to be essentially like a spirit animal, but he's like, a physical manifestation.
I'm about to win a game of Magic because I'm
Nice.
awesome. He doesn't know what to do.
So, what's your, you're playing Shurg in our game now.
I am.
And it's like just starting to ramp up. You actually like playing him in the party, which is exciting.
Dude, that party is so much fun playing him again. Genuinely, I'm having fun playing him again.
How's the like? I know you haven't gotten to use him too incredibly much, but how's like the Rune Knight stuff working out for you, as opposed to him being a druid?
It's everything that I wanted it to be.
Oh yeah,
Being a fighter is so nice.
it's like simple.
Yeah, because you could just run up and just hit stuff and you're effective. Or like the fact that he kind of does like transform, right? He has like his wild shapes and stuff. So his playstyle is kind of similar as he was when he was a what kind of druid was he? I can't remember what it was called.
Was he a Spores druid?
Thank you, Circle of Spores druid. Yeah. You know, because he had like the two wild shapes. You know, so that's the kind of the same with the two knight. You know, the Rune Knight buffs. And just the fact that he becomes like a 12-foot monster is insane. That can turn invisible.
Yeah. How long does the enlargement last?
10 minutes?
Whoa, that's a long time.
I'm pretty sure it's 10 minutes. I'm gonna pull it up right now.
That's like useful in combat, but like also out of combat.
Hopping on the D&D right now. It's so nice being able to like share the stuff that I've unlocked.
Oh, the D&D Beyond stuff.
Gives me a reason.
I need a dry brush. Well, kind of a middle dry brush. I'll grab this one.
Oh no, okay, it's only 1 minute, so 10 rounds of combat, I guess is what I was thinking.
Gotcha. So a little less useful outside of combat, but still a lot.
But even then, all the runes have like an outside of combat use.
That's like
yeah, like I picked the fire rune. So while wearing carrying an object inscribed this room, my proficiency is doubled for any ability check that uses a proficiency with like a tool. Right? So just because I have this rune, like my smith's tools are doubly effective, I roll advantage or whatever, right? Or I add my proficiency. Oh no, it's expertise. The proficiency bonus is doubled. And then the stone rune gives me advantage on insight checks and a dark vision of 120 feet.
Interesting.
Just for having it, and then I can activate it to do its ability.
Now you have to have the rune like imbued onto something, right?
It says inscribed. It can be on like an item. So
well,
like
but there's like also limitations to what, like how many runes you can have on an item.
And just how many runes you can have. I don't think it says that on an item.
Pretty sure you can only inscribe a rune on specific. Like I'm pretty sure you can't have more than one rune on an. Like I might be thinking of the UA Rune Knight, because that's the only one that I played. You're playing the Tasha's one, right?
You can use magic runes to enhance your gear. You learn 2 runes of your choice from among the runes described below. And each time you gain a level in this class, you can place one rune with one from a different one from this feature. It doesn't have a limitation on like where and how, just how many you can have.
Okay, that may have been a UA thing then.
The flavor is that it's like scribed on like your armor or like your weapons or your tools or whatever. But I always thought it'd be neat to be like, well, I mean, with Shurg, probably it's going to be on his like items, right? Because that's just like who he is. But I always like was toying around with the idea of like maybe like tattoos or like alchemy marks, you know, because originally this is my guy. This is my plan for my Full Metal Alchemist guy.
Oh, what's his name? Armstrong, the strong arm alchemist. I gotcha.
Just the I still can't. I'm still going to use some of the abilities, right? Because the advantage on strength checks is really neat, and the fact that Jose pinned down that manticore and we just destroyed it, just as like, just made me realize more useful things can be, like the grapple attacks and pin attacks and things like that.
Yeah. Man, that was a clutch moment.
Dude, I was like, I have to curse him, I have to hex him, and then we win.
It's just been like the dungeon delve has been a really great example of just do it, man. Like stop deliberating, stop being so cautious, just do it. And if it fails, it's going to be spectacular. And if it succeeds, it's going to be spectacular.
I just think it's so funny, the nonsense that we've put you through.
Oh man, I've loved it so much. Okay, so
I was avoiding all the manticores for like 10 sessions.
yeah. Oh, will this be the day they fight the manticores and get the experience that they keep complaining about not having? Nope.
Yo, man, the way that I want to experience in 5e blows. It's awful.
Yeah,
I genuinely think
I'm not a fan
like everyone's.
I'm not a fan of the way that we did. Like, I'm glad to have tried it and been like, oh yeah, point experience per monster. Yeah, we've done that. It was awful. Like,
Yeah,
we played 10 games and half of the party got up to level 2. It's like
Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't even like we were doing anything, you know. We were like actually playing the game.
So I think, like in retrospect, I think that might be a little bit of my fault, because I think technically, like with point experience in 5e, you're supposed to get experience for even things like traps and social encounters and stuff like that. And I've really only been handing out experience for killing monsters. You know what I mean? I think probably the one exception. I think probably the one exception that we made was when you guys survived that one encounter with the Manticore. And even though like there wasn't any combat, I like awarded you half experience for like making through it and being clever about it and stuff.
Let's see.
But I think you probably should be getting more experience than what you've been.
I just think
Go ahead.
the experience between everyone is real lame. Like everyone should get like 2/3 experience or something. I think that would have been better overall, because it's just more of a feels bad, right? Like we go kill like this goblin, and if one person kills it, they get 50, but if everyone kills it, we all get like 12. So
well, I mean, you're also doing a quarter of the work.
Yeah, but at that point, we should have just had one person just go kill everyone, and then he could have got real strong, and then it wouldn't have mattered anymore. But that would have sucked, and I would have wanted to play the game, because chances are it would have been like someone.
Yeah.
We were like rock, paper, scissors for it, and they would have won. I'd be like, man, my idea sucks.
Y'all have really been putting me through the ringer in the dungeon delve, but man, it's been so much of a blast.
I kind of was joking, but I kind of really do want to rescue everyone and then go back and finish the dungeon. I kind of really do, but I also want to be a pirate king. So
yeah. Well, it's gonna be like, all right, guys, it's epilogue time. tell me what your character did over the next year, and you're gonna be like, I went back to the dungeon and finished it and rescued everybody from the dungeon.
Yes. Yes. I turned it into the pirate fortress. That's what he's.
You and Tess populated it with lizard babies.
But it was a complete accident. I don't know how. It just was. Fade to black.
So I haven't actually talked to you about Tess outside of the game. I really hope that for the viewers who are watching, in the current Dungeon Delve game, we have Chris's character's name's Mac, and he's a lizard man. And they ran across, like, I've been going by the book on this little dungeon that I found online. And one of the rooms said, hey, there's like 3 lizard people, like these lizard men that have been like hanging out in the back, and they're stealing, like lizard men are all about survival, and so they've just been living there by stealing the treasure and like supplies and stuff from the goblins. And I was like, oh, well, they're lizard folk, so they're probably, you know, they're probably similar to Mac. And you had already established Mac as like this southern dialect and whatnot, so I was like, well, that's already been pre-established in lore, so that means these guys are going to have to be like that.
I don't know how he ended up being a Texas Ranger, but that's how it ended up.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the things I found online. It was just like a sexy cowboy alligator.
I think it was just one of those avatars that you picked up for the map. So there are these 3 lizard folk that the party ran into, and one of them's name was Budokai, and one of them was Wei, but then there was a female there named Tess. And through not my own design, but through some roles, because I've been kind of like, you know, as a DM, Chris, like having to improvise everything, I've been like honestly just leaving a lot of things up to a role. And I'll be like is like, you know, oh, she's female, and Mac is like doing all of this really impressive stuff that Wei and Budokai can't do, and you know, they're all about they're all about preservation of the species and whatnot, and I'm like, she'd probably be into him if, you know. And so I rolled some dice, and it was just like, whoa, she is really into him. But I haven't really talked to you about Tess, and whether the way that I've been role-playing her has been awkward to you or not.
I think I've been making it purposely awkward just for the fun of it, because I think the role-playing moments have been so funny.
It's really been great. I love how Mac is just accidentally like totally obtuse to like her advances and whatnot. But I also really like how, like, in the last session, it's like, you know, maybe coming together a little bit. I don't know. I'm excited to see like what happens, because I could also see it would just be hilarious to me that it looks like it's coming together, and that he's starting to see something in her. But no, he, like, all along he was just completely obtuse.
Yeah, I really don't.
That'd be amazing.
I'll have to see whatever like the mood is whenever we're playing.
So we're actually going to be playing on Monday.
Yeah. Like the silly stuff like that I don't have any like say in, really, you know? Like it's not 100% up to me. I just kind of wait and let it happen. I don't really try to think about it ahead of time.
Yeah, that's been a really cool like motto for me as well in DMing this stuff. It's like I've been thinking more about like situations rather than events. You know, putting you guys in a situation rather than planning an event out that you guys go through. And I think that's been working out pretty well.
Quantum Mimic.
Yeah, that was one of my least favorite, the Quantum Goblin. Like, at the time, I thought it was really interesting, but it kind of fell flat for me, actually.
I okay, so I think it was fine because he showed up in two different games,
Uh-huh.
and I think the problem is in one of them like it was fine, but in the other it wasn't, and so it felt just like out of place. I think is what the issue was. Because in the other game, like he felt fine when he was like running around. He was like, "Kill me," and we were like, "Nah, dude, you're weird." I thought
Well,
that
so
was
so the thing that I think that it kind of fell flat for me is that it wasn't really described. Like I didn't really foreshadow any of it. It was like a thing that happened that nobody really knew what was going on, and you guys like eventually kind of almost figured it out, but but it didn't really add anything to the story. It was just like, oh look, it's a silly thing, and I felt like I should have like had something prepped a bit more for that, to make it understandable. Like if the players don't understand a thing, it's really not valuable to the story.
I can agree. Or even better, when they completely understand it, but your understandings are different.
You mean
Like,
like
yeah,
you mean like
but
when somebody is like, "Oh snap, they're controlling us through the food. We need to throw it up." And I'm like, "Yes, you figured it out."
I think so. Because they
But
were, I don't know, they were just way too hospitable, man. They were like racist, and then they were like, "Oh, here's some food."
I mean, have you never seen a Bond movie?
That's true. Funny thing is that I'm just assuming because you're like, "Oh, you seem to feel better," that like maybe I did figure it out. But it would be great if it turns out that it just wasn't. That maybe just the food wasn't settling well with me, and that's why I felt better.
Oh no, you totally figured it out.
Okay, good. Ha. I still don't know if Tess like threw up the food or not, right? Like I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know if Max
What are you gonna do if she betrays Mac?
I'm gonna gut her like a fish. I really don't know. That's like the only thing I've kind of been thinking about ahead of time. I was like, dude, what if she didn't? What if she didn't listen?
So
So,
what kind of characters do you have in your back pocket right now? I know you're always making a bunch of them.
ah man. All right. Look, I did not realize how extremely overpowered the Gloomstalker Ranger is.
Oh really?
It's insane, dude.
So did you like
Yeah.
opt out of it just because of like the story reasons, or because like you were like, hey, this is too much. I don't want to break
No,
down the game.
well, okay. So mostly I opted out of it because it'd be my second Ranger.
Oh sure.
But like, so with the new Ranger, right? With like the Tasha's Cauldron and everything Ranger, right? You get basically 7 skills and expertise. So I had like 7 stealth.
Hey, hold up a second. Ladies and gentlemen, Ike the Giant has entered the chat. What is going on, my dude? I love you to pieces. Thank you so much for coming to the chat. We've got Chris on with us tonight, and we've also got Stefan. And hey, Ike, if you want to join in and talk D&D, we're in chat on Discord. If you just hop in that chat, you'll be in here with us. So sorry, Chris. Back to your Rangers.
Oh, no, dude, no issue, right? All right, so check it out. So then I'm like level 3, right, with standard array. All right. I have +6 initiative. I first turn of combat, I increase my walking speed by 10 feet. I get 2 attacks, and I roll 1d8 extra damage. And if I hit, I can do favored foe, which gives me 1d4. Which then, if I do that on the first hit and I hit my second hit, I also get the additional 1d4. And this is just a level 3. And you can do it at range because you're a ranger.
Wait, you can do that at range?
Yeah, dude.
So at level 3, what's your max damage that you can do?
So, all right. So I have 40 feet of movement, plus 6 initiative, and a 15 armor class. At range with a longbow, because of being the half drow, it's 1d8 plus 3, plus 1d4, plus 1d8, plus 1d8, plus 1d4. That's
Holy
maximum
cow.
potential damage if I hit on both attacks.
That's
At level
too
3 with
much.
Standing Array.
That's
with
too
a
much.
with a +7 to stealth.
I thought a lot of the
That's-
Gloomstalker.
Yeah, dude, they're
Um,
so strong.
I thought the majority of the Gloomstalker stuff didn't really take effect until like in darkness or dim light. Is that right?
Nah, dude, Dread Ambusher just happens. Yeah,
That's bonkers.
you add your wisdom modifier to initiative rolls, so you have a good wisdom anyway, because wisdom is your spellcasting. So you're gonna have at least a +2, you know? It's insane.
Well, thanks for not playing that.
And then we turned him into the Shadow Monk, which seemed a lot of fun. Man, yeah, I had him built with a spear, so imagine doing that at range, dude.
That's crazy. Spears don't have fantastic range, though, right?
No, spears do not, but I was just doing him, like the melee just for the flavor, because I really liked it.
Yeah. I'm really glad you landed on Shurg, though. I think it's like Amanda was talking to me the other day about how Resphira has really liked having a familiar face. Like she's been kind of a fish out of water during this adventure, and is really appreciative of having a familiar face in the adventuring group.
Yeah, I think him being like obsessed with his giant heritage and being able to like change him to the Rune Knight, I was just like so passionate to play him again. So it's been very.
So Remington, when are you going to be able to play D&D again with us? I heard you said that your work is starting to slow back down a bit, so you might be able to.
Sorry, say that one more time.
I said, when are you going to be able to play D&D with us? I heard that your work is slowing back down, and you might be able to.
Yeah, dude, it's slowing down, so I can possibly start playing again now. To be honest with you, I'm working on Mondays, but I'm getting home. Some days I'm getting home at a decent hour, and some days a job might take forever. But yeah, I told Isaac, like, yeah, I'm almost about ready to go to play again, so which would be nice.
It's exciting.
Yes, I'm excited.
I'm excited
And I'm
to not
excited to-
have 2 games to DM at the same time.
I'm excited to finally hopefully finish Avernus. I think that's going to be good.
I'm trying to remember where we were in Avernus. We had... It was like we were in the war machines, the infernal machines, and we were trying to get to the... Was it the carnival? The bazaar? The something? It was like a...
Oh, we were trying to find Mordenkainen's
Magic.
floating
Watch.
tower.
It was... We were doing something for Red Ruby.
Did we go see her sister?
For Ruby Rod.
Ruby Rod.
It's still one of my absolute favorite moments when she was like, "You can't trick me with my sister's
Dude,
blood,"
yeah,
but it was like her own blood. It was still one of my absolute
yeah.
favorites. moments of any D&D ever.
That was probably
So
like nail biting. It was amazing.
Oh, that's right. You took her own blood. Somebody took her own blood and tried to give it to her as payment.
Your son did.
Yeah.
The Warforged did, and it was epic. Like it was just so epic.
You think my
What's
son's
going on, Josh?
gonna work?
Oh man, that was pretty great.
It was so good. Wandering
So, like,
is what I
the
said.
Wandering Emporium. That's right. That's right. Because we were looking for a thing for her or something, and I think the last thing we landed on was there was like a cliffhanger for Celeste. She made it into the Wandering Emporium or something like that, and was like in a tent and ended up being like transported somewhere else or something. Do you guys remember that? I guess Ike is in here. Ike, do you remember where we were?
I
What was going on?
genuinely do not remember. I remember that we hopped in one day, did a recap, leveled up to level 9, and then didn't play again.
Yeah, that's where I need to get better as a player for stuff like this. Like that's kind of one reason why I'm thinking about going back to pen and paper playing. That way I can make myself write notes because as a player, I don't know, I've been really thinking about how I can be a better player instead of just showing up like playing Stefan and oh yeah, I don't know what the heck we did or I know a little bit. I can actually go back and say, hey, kind of like Marisha.
Dude,
probably not as intense as her.
Yeah.
But just the fact that she can go back in her notes and then was she talking about? Was she kind of like color codes, like villains' names, and she'll have like tabs to go back? And I was just like, man, like that's such a good player. Like
it's also her job, and I gotta say,
well, that is true. Yeah,
I really like having good notes, but holy cow, is it hard
dude.
to get?
Oh yeah.
It's hard to like separate your brain from what is happening at the table to take notes at a delayed rate, and like it's so hard.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for that. But like I said, I know me as personally as a player, I have to get better because I don't take notes now, honestly.
Yeah.
And that hurts me. I feel like a lot.
As a DM, what I've found out works good for me, note-taking wise, because as a DM, you really need to take notes. Is that I will not take notes unless it's like some super obscure detail, like, I don't know, Stefan picked his nose 3 times, and I won't remember that it was 3 or whatever. But I'll scribble down stuff like that. But right after the game is done, I'll go back and I'll write everything down, because if I like mentally anchor myself to the beginning of the game, that's enough to remember the next and the next and the next and the next, and then I can kind of scribble down everything that's happened.
My buddy kind of does that. One of the guys that I run, that Storm of King's Thunder, he does that with one of his characters. He actually writes a short kind of story or synopsis of what happened in like the eyes of his own character or his character.
Like his character's journaling.
Like his journaling, exactly. And so the beginning of each session, usually he'll be the one to recap, and he'll read from that journal entry, and it's pretty cool to see that lens, I guess, or perspective, from the character's eyes of what happened.
That's pretty cool. I did that a little bit with Malabar in one of our first games. I had like a little journal, kind of like a captain's log. It was fun, but it just wasn't sustainable. Like I couldn't journal everything.
Not with
Yeah,
that.
I mean, he did like spark notes of it. what we accomplished, who we kind of talked to, like the main quest guy or whatever, and what happened, and that was it. He didn't. Yeah.
There definitely are things that you can do to be a good player. Like a lot of people don't realize that it can take a lot of effort to be a good D&D player, and that.
Well, I saw
you know,
that.
it's,
Yeah, I saw that entry y'all did in Discord that I'm definitely want to watch, because you don't. I never really thought of it that way. You know, you always think about the DM prepping, and you know, when I was running Storm King's Thunder for a bit, and I'm gonna get that back going now that we're slowing down. The DM does prep, but I think it is good practice for the players to prep as well. You know.
yeah.
And that makes sense to me. So I was really interested in watching that and getting some of those tidbits of knowledge, you know.
Some of that insight.
Mhm. I know from the Dungeon Delve, when I was jumped in and listened to it, I really enjoyed listening to some of y'all's shenanigans. And Chris, your character is amazing. Like, the long drawn Southern accent and that picture that you kind of showed in Discord of what you pictured him as is perfect. It's perfect, you know. So, and all the your little sayings you have, like the I'm trying to figure out what to call them.
It's like a polecat over a fireplace.
Yeah,
or something like
exactly. Oh my gosh, just I don't know if you're coming with that stuff off the hip, but it's hilarious. It's amazing. I really enjoy it. So like when I jump in to listen to it, it's just great.
I really wish we would have like recorded all of them, like in hindsight. But you know, because I've really enjoyed playing the Delve too.
Now, that was the one that that was the one that y'all rolled stats straight, right? And then off those stats, you created your character. I can't
So everyone
remember.
had
Or there was like
they had the
options,
option
right?
to, yeah.
Right.
Chris took standard array because he likes to be boring and not interesting.
Did anybody do the straight roll off?
Yes, Luke did, and
Luke did, okay.
he rolled a 1.
No.
What was it? He rolled
He
a
rolled
20.
a nat 20, and then a nat 20, and then
That's
a
right.
1. So he has
Yeah.
20 strength, 20 dexterity, and 1 constitution.
Ooh. So that's fun.
So he's like the epitome of a glass cannon. It's great.
Oh, he's Stefan. No.
Yeah, he's like Deku from My Hero Academia. He can do a single punch that'll obliterate a building, but it'll like shatter his arm in the process. Well, I think this guy's coming along.
Well, I've seen he looks good. Oh, by the way, Ike said we got ambushed by some dudes, and Lulu went down, and right as we
That's
got to
right.
the
That's right. That's
Lulu
right.
went down. That's why Celeste took
Yes,
off.
she
Yeah,
did.
I dimension
Yes.
doored up to the Emporium with Lulu.
That's right. We're running. Yeah, we're running to the Emporium because what came out? Yeah, something
It was
came
like a
out.
Death Knight or something.
Yeah,
it was Mr.
Yeah.
Megorium.
it was the demon dude. Yeah, and we were like booking it because that's like we realized, oh, we can't fight this dude, and so we were booking it. Yeah, so she dimension doored her and Lula to the bazaar. That's right. Oh man,
Man.
what a cliffhanger! I forgot all. Dude,
Dungeon
yes.
Delve has been. Sorry, not Dungeon Delve. Avernus has been. There's some wild stuff happening in the Descent into Avernus game.
Oh, y'all smoking out the sewer underneath the
Oh man, talk about
The-
classic taking 45 minutes and walking back and forth and back and forth and
Oh, the
for
Scooby
not a
Doo.
lot of
Oh
reason.
yeah. I just thought that's the Scooby Doo of us splitting the party and one of us going to the top and one of us going to the bottom, and then us hearing the other part of the party but not knowing it was them. So we're trying to hide from you guys, and then y'all are trying to hide from us. Like, yeah,
I forgot
that was
about
great.
that.
Yeah, that was great.
Ike, we need you to dungeon master for us again. We need it. I need a dedicated, like, mini base holder. I don't have a good spot for them. I keep them around my paints and they just, like, flop all over the place and fall over whenever I move a paint bottle. I don't
Sounds
like it. Nobody likes floppy paint bottles.
Surprised you haven't put them all in dropper bottles.
I have, but it's like
Oh, that's
I'm
right,
trying.
you did. Yeah.
But it's like I don't have a place for the bases, like the mini bases, and so I like squeeze them in between a dropper bottle because it like holds them in place and keeps them from jiggling around. But then when I move the dropper bottles, like the little things go everywhere, the bases go everywhere, and then I end up having to like reorganize everything.
This guy.
Yeah, and-
So I played.
I'm not able to watch the Twitch stream because I get a double echo.
I played a big scary guy who's like indestructible, meaning they can't kill him. And then I played another big scary guy who's indestructible, which means they can't kill him. And now he's roping me.
What does roping mean?
He's just letting his turn pass without making actions.
Oh,
He's
that's not
boring.
cool, y'all. Don't be like that.
To be fair, the guys that I got in this draft are pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, but there's no reason to be petty about it.
I agree.
So Chris, what's been your favorite like thing about D&D lately?
Honestly, playing a Rune Knight. It's been quite great.
I played one with Bruzel Whitbuckle on that one shot that Ike did that one time.
That was so fun.
It was really good. I really liked Bruzel. I really like how fighters, like, you know, they're simple, but what it does is it frees up brain space to like have creative uses of the simple things. It's like having a utility belt. It's like Magnus Burnsides and his crowbars.
Yes. Doing so good.
Thank you. I'm trying.
He really does look good.
I was
Looking
going to
at it,
just
looks
do
good.
the top parts of these little filigree things, then I accidentally colored it in. So I'm like, well, guess what? I meant to color it in the whole time. It just be like that sometimes. Happy accidents. The only thing I wish different, like I need a mini holder handle that can support big minis, because the magnets just aren't powerful enough to hold a large base mini. And I'm like buffing this guy's head smooth by keeping my thumb on his head to hold it still.
I get what you're saying.
$3D printed a paint handle that you might be interested in. You'll probably have to do your magnet thing on top. But next time I see you, it has a finger rest actually that it prints off as well. That way you don't have to touch the miniature. You have like a finger rest that you can use. If I start the file, I can show you what it looks like.
Yeah, send me a picture.
Yeah, because
I think it's more of like, I think I could really just stand with getting like a really powerful neodymium magnet. That because it's like I magnetized the bottom, so it's like it's got something to stick to. It's just not a powerful enough connection for these bigger minis. Maybe I need to get one that's like not magnetic, but that's like compressive. Like there's a compressive, is that the right word? There's one that I've seen. I think it's the Citadel one, the Games Workshop one, where it like slides and clamps around the base and just like puts physical pressure on it.
To look at the ones that I've seen ones that can also do that as well. I'm trying to think. The one I printed off can do that, but at the same time, it was a pain in the butt to try to get the parts to work right. If I remember right.
I've seen a couple that use like a rubber band as the tension spring.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that I printed off. Yeah. Yeah, you have to. It has like these two clips and the two sides, and you have to loop the rubber band in one of the clips, and then pull it through, and then and then you twist it to give it tension, and then it closes within itself.
Interesting.
Yeah, I printed some of those off for the old D&D group at the game store for like Christmas.
Sorry, I'm being quiet. I'm focusing on this filigree. Hey, do you guys, either you guys have monster recommendations for what I should print and paint next?
Displacer Beast.
Ooh, that'd be a good one. I did a poll on Twitter a while ago, and one guy recommended a Kraken.
That would be cool. I like the.
Kind of seems thematic for the delve right now too. You like the what, Stefan? I mean, Remington.
Let me look at it real quick. Let me jump on D&D Beyond. It's one of my favorite. Here, I'm gonna sit there and say it's my favorite. I really like it, but I can't remember the dumb name of it. But it's the one where it's got like a ooze. It's almost like a ooze, but it controls like a puppet, like a person, to lure people in.
Interesting.
An anglerfish?
Let me find it real quick. Well, I remember.
Yeah, the Citadel one. I think that's the one that I've seen like firsthand. Is like I've seen it in your stuff. Isn't it kind of expensive though? Because you know me, I'm cheap and I'm crafty and I like to make things rather than buy them. Sorry, Remington, I interrupted you.
No, dude, I'm looking it up right now, so don't worry about me.
If any of you out there in chat are interested in getting into D&D and think that you have to buy a lot of books, you really don't. I'm currently painting the Monster Manual. The Monster Manual has a ton of fantastic monsters in it, and I have yet to use all of the monsters in the monster manual. There's so like $10. That's like actually not that bad, eh? Like I haven't even used mind flayers yet, and they're like one of the quintessentials D&D standards. I haven't used displacer beasts. I haven't used ogres or trolls or carrion crawlers. I have used the gelatinous cube, but I haven't used any of the other oozes yet. There's just like there's so many monsters just in the core books. You get so much value out of just 3 books. You don't really have to get all of the books to have an enjoyable time with D&D.
They're called Oblex, Oblex. I just think it looks cool with it's like a blob of like people behind a human or whatever. That apparently it says that
Oh, you're talking about yeah.
they want memories and eat memories because of the illithids.
Yeah, they're like the illithid like to psychologically or
Yes.
psychically like jack everything up from the Kuatoa to the Dwegar to everything, and it's them messing with oozes, and so they like devour memories and stuff, and they can like impersonate a person as long as there's like a little strand of ooze that's like trailing behind them and connects it to the body.
Yeah, I think that's like really neat.
How would you do a mini for that though?
I have no idea, and I'm really interested in seeing someone either sculpt one or like Wizards of the Coast make one of their own. But because to me it looks like just a blob, an ooze with a bunch of faces and stuff.
Make it an anglerfish.
It is actually already kind of like an anglerfish.
You could do a Nightwalker, and I have a STL that would work really good for that.
Hey, you want to see a really cool trick? The fastest mini job in the West. I'm gonna pause this bear for a second and make a mini real quick. I'm going to make. Are you ready for it? The Invisible Stalker. He's done. He's all ready. He's right there.
Let's see.
No.
You could just put a base, right?
So what?
You could just put like a base, right? And that would be the Invisible Stalker.
Yeah, because like there's no official form for the Invisible Stalker. Like so it's not like I could even like print one in clear or something like that. It's just like it's almost like the Gru from Zork. It's like nobody knows what it looks like. That's my funny joke. Ooh.
Dude, I bought a monster just so I could stay up and be on your stream.
You bought a monster?
Like an energy.
Oh. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, man.
You're normally not up this late, are you?
No, I'm an old man.
You're the best old man, though.
Thanks.
So I think what we're going to do on this bear next, I think I'm going to... I'm not sure if I like it, honestly. But I started doing a lighter brown and transitioning to a darker brown. Rather than dark transitioning up to light. So it's like, see like his chest hair is kind of light. And then, or like where he's not so hairy, it's light. And then where he's getting shaggy, it's getting darker. I think I'm going to dry brush some of this really dark black brown on top of it and kind of like transition it up. I think I'm going to do that next. I wouldn't mind some ideas, if you guys can see it in the chat. I wouldn't mind some ideas on what to do on this belt. Like, I like the gold, and I'm going to put some washes on it, but I don't like the big circle in the middle. feel like it needs something. So if you have any ideas, let me know.
Oh, make it look like a wrestling belt.
I don't know what a wrestling belt looks like. What's it look like?
Big and gold.
Well, it's already kind of got gold around it, dog. Do they normally have like designs in the middle or something?
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of design should I put in there?
Like a big bear face.
I could like freehand a like a Chinese or Japanese symbol on there or something, or like, you know, something.
Do you freehand with
Yeah.
a brush and paint, or do you use like those velvet markers? You know what I'm talking about?
I just use a freehand.
Okay.
No, I paint. I like use a brush.
'Cause I saw some of those guys when they do their freehands, they like to use those. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like
Yeah, they're like a Copic marker.
yeah, they've used those before, and of course they swear by them.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be as fiddly, and you know, wouldn't like wander around so much, like a brush tip would. I'm really glad that the new camera is like working out really well. I think it looks
Yeah,
a
I
lot
feel like
nicer.
yeah, I like the setup, man. It looks clearer. I noticed that when I got on. I was like, man, this looks a lot cleaner. And I noticed that immediately. But maybe
I
I'm
also
just
like, what are your thoughts on the new bubble cam too? Like I used to have like a tiny little circle over in the corner, but I've kind of like I went with a rounded rectangle this time and kind of made it bigger in general.
yeah, I like it too. It looks good, and it doesn't take away from your focus of the miniature. Um, but I like it. Yeah. I love how you have your palette on your hand.
Oh yeah, that's I normally do that for dry brushing just to
Is
kind
that
of
a
see how much.
habit or?
I do it for dry brushing to see how much paint I have on my brush, like because you don't want too much when you're dry brushing, so it kind of gives me a gauge for how much is on there. But I'll also do it for like very small stuff. When you get a tiny amount of paint on a tiny paintbrush to paint a tiny thing, the paint can often dry by the time it gets from your, you know, from down here up to what you're painting. So if I make a little hand palette up here, then it works out a lot better. And I can just go straight from there to painting the thing. Okay. I like that. I think that turned out well. Let's get another paintbrush. Let's put some wash on his wrestling belt. We're going to use Carrollsberg Crimson.
Excellent.
And I'm going to try to not get it on the gold. I like to put washes on everything, because the paints that I use are very matte, and so it kind of gives it a mildly glossy texture.
watching on YouTube. I like his paint style. A lot of his stuff is very muted, matted down, which I like. Kind of like a grim dark, but not grim dark, or without being intentional, being grim dark style, I guess. Do you try to mat over your gloss a little bit, or your wash, or?
So, I mean, I have some matte Krylon spray coat to like seal the minis, but honestly, I haven't used it in a very long time. I kind of don't like the way that it messes with the finish. I prefer just to leave them raw paint. It's not good for them. Like it has no protection whatsoever, and you can very easily rub the paint off if you handle them too much. But I've just kind of been lazy and haven't really figured out a solution that I want to use on everything yet. But it's like, so for example, let me grab a thing real quick. Like this beholder right here that I painted. This isn't the best example, but see how like his eye is kind of shiny, it's kind of glossy. If I were to spray this whole thing with matte finish, it would remove the gloss. So it's like I don't really know what to do. Like, should I still spray it with the matte finish, but like mask off those shiny spots? It's like I don't know. I think a lot of people would get around that with like painting on highlights rather than using actual textures. Like if they did like non-metallic metal, or if they like painted on a shine instead of it being actually shiny. But I haven't done that.
I just think it looks good. I thought your beholder looked really good. It looks just like the Monster Manual like picture.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's just not protected. Like if I were to rub my fingers all over it, eventually it would wear the paint off. Like it's not sealed at all.
Don't rub your fingers on it.
You could probably, I know they make you could probably make a gloss varnish. So like if you wanted that section to be shiny, you could probably, like you said, like mask it, the eye, or whatever. Spray the matte, and then when you peel the mask off, and then use the gloss varnish to make sure that it stays kind of that glossiness.
Yeah, I'm not actually not too worried about the glossiness losing its finish, because the way that I get the effect is I paint on clear nail polish. So like,
okay,
it's like almost like an epoxy that's on there anyway. But it's just like I would lose the shiny effect if I were to spray over it with the matte varnish.
right.
He's really getting to that point where it's like starting to come together and starting to look good.
Yes.
I think
That's
adding the wash to the mustard here has made it look less mustardy.
Yes.
What's the what?
Yeah, the liquid skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how Ike introduced it to me, and that's how I've always called it.
Liquid talent. Nope, don't like that. Don't like that at all.
Oops.
Yep, happens. Just put a little water on your brush. Wash it off before it dries. If you can get to it quick, it's normally fine. Alright, let's put a wash on the gold. I'm going to use Seraphim Sepia. This is like my light tan wash, and it works really, really well for a lot of things. Like outside of Nuln Oil, it's probably the wash that I use the most, because it gives a nice light shadow. It's really good for gold. It's really good for, like, it'll turn white into kind of like a tanned leather. So check this out. It's like this little gold swamp down here in the middle. Probably gonna have to like really soak it on because of all these cracks. It's not gonna cover it up enough to get rid of the metallic sheen, but it's just gonna add like some dark brown shadows, or some light brown shadows rather. The darker washes like Agrax Earthshade, they just make it look too deep.
Yeah, they make it look muddy sometimes.
Mm-hmm. The reason that they do is because shadows, like it adds like a little bit too much blue. Like black is like a very blue dark. It's a cool dark color, as opposed to a warm dark color. And if your color is naturally warmer, like brown, you don't want too cool of a shadow. Trying to think if I should try and do some edge highlighting on some of these. We're getting close to time too, and I'd like to get him finished up before the night's over. We got 30 minutes left. It's not a lot of time. One thing I don't like about that, the gold being washed, like I like the gold being washed, but it's now kind of pushed the hue of the gold closer to the mustard belts. So I feel like I need to do something with those. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this dry brush and get a little bit of more of the light brown, the original brown. And I'm going to dry brush this on top of all of his fur to kind of pull out some of the highlights, because I want it to be like dark fur on top of a dark, like a lighter underbase, but it still should have been hitting the sun and kind of bleaching in the sun a little bit. So just a little. No, that doesn't look good at all, actually. I don't like that. Okay, so what we're going to do instead is we're going to do some edge highlighting. Yeah, that's better. It's just going to be a lot more tedious. Yeah, this is looking good, guys.
I think it looks awesome. That wash has really made him look really great. Your little edge highlighting looks real good, dude. Drew's gonna flip.
Yeah, kind of like my hope and dream for this is to really make him just pee his pants a little bit. Like if that happens, I'll be a happy DM. And really, I think it's going to be mostly from, you know, I'm going to drop the mini down and have like the little social encounter, and he's going to be like, oh, cool, man. You know. But then I'm going to swap the hands out with the axe hands and be like, all right, cub.
Cub.
Yeah. Show me what you got. You say you can protect these people. Let's see if you can actually do it. And that was kind of like the whole impetus behind the magnetized limbs, is I wanted him to look like, you know, an imposing but not threatening character, and then throw the axes out and be like, you know, let's go.
Oh, by the way.
Exactly. Literally, oh, by the way. I'm starting to get a little lazier with this the further down the back that it goes.
That's kind of okay though, right?
It's kind of what I'm thinking. Like you're really going to be focusing on the top of his hair anyway. Man, guys, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. I have really enjoyed having folks to talk to. Well, I think.
That has been fun.
Have you guys seen anything about the new books coming out?
The Feywild book,
So there's 3 coming out. There's the
Strixhaven one is good.
Strixhaven one, yeah, and the dragon one. Fizban's Guide to Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Strixhaven Chronicles, or whatever it's called. And then the Wild Beyond the Witchlight. I'm really excited for the Wild Beyond the Witchlight one.
Yeah, it's gonna be good too.
I'm kind of interested in the Strixhaven one, just because I don't know if the home game is going to end up going back to Neverwinter, where the school is, and if that's going to be, like, more pivotal. It'd be nice to have some stuff actually laid out on how a magical school works.
Yeah, because I agree, because, like, we've had characters, go back to the school. So if we ever met there, like, having rules for it would be kind of neat. I agree.
Or at least having something, pre-built that I could, like, plug into it and riff off of, rather than having to completely come up with something myself.
Tables or something.
Yeah. That was one thing that Jim Davis talks about a lot, is that he really wishes that more D&D books had tables. Like, he's like, give me useful stuff. Don't give me, like, pre-packaged, pre-baked adventures with, like, what people say if you talk to them. Give me tables. Like, well thought out, useful tables that I could just drop into my game and use wherever. And that would be Jim Davis of WebDM, not Jim Davis, the Muppet guy who passed away a long time ago.
That's pretty funny.
Okay. Oh man, that looks really great. Alright, I'm gonna do his mouth in black instead of pink. I was trying to get, like, his gums, but I think it'd be better just to do it in black.
Your badger buddy asked you a question.
Oh, Badger Buddy. Name of the Wind. That sounds familiar. That sounds really familiar, actually. Is that a Patrick Rothfuss book? I've not read it, but I've heard the name. On the Wind. Alright, his eyes are really squinty, so it looks like we're not doing... Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, so I've heard of Name of the Wind. It's part of the Kingkiller Chronicles. And I've heard that he has a really good magic system. I have never read any of his books, but holy cow, do I have a massive appreciation for Patrick Rothfuss. He is a all-around fantastic guy. He's a great D&D role player. If you've never seen him RP, man, he was fantastic as he played a guest character in Critical Role's first campaign and played pretty regularly with the Penny Arcade guys for Acquisitions Incorporated.
Ah, nice. Okay.
Let's see here. Let's get a little bit of edge highlighting. On the belt. Just a little bit up top here. One of the nice things about doing a zenithal highlight is that if you can work it so that the highlights like show through, then you can like already see where the highlights would be, and then you can just go back and sweeten them up a little bit. And like it helps you from having to figure out where highlights should go. And then you can use them as like a painting guide.
With painting and doing a zenithal.
Yeah.
I end up I guess I'm using too thick of a paint, and so it covers up the zenithal highlight. So then I'm thinking, why did I do this? It serves no purpose, but I know there's a purpose because I watch people do it all the time.
Yeah, so I've covered them up as well, and but it's still nice to be able to like see the contours of the paint of the model while you're painting. It's like here, take a look at this. See this little bear? It's like, yeah, I can see him, and I can see like all of his folds and all of his fur. I can't see anything. This is like, I can look at this in real life, and it looks like a silhouette of white. Like it is hard to see any sort of detail on this. And if you paint it flat black, it's like the exact same thing. It just sucks up all the light, and there's just you can hardly see any of the contours. So even if you completely cover it up, there's a lot of value in being able to see what you're trying to paint. Yeah, the joke about Pat and his third book, it's like every time somebody asks about it, it adds like 3 months to the wait time. I'm sure he's under like immense pressure too. All right, so I'm gonna go gold, and I think I'm going to make I'm gonna draw an insignia on here, and I'm gonna freehand it. So let's grab a piece of paper and a pen. Let's concept some of this stuff out. So let's see. I'm thinking something simple and symmetrical. Holy symbols and symbols of reliance and religious importance tend to be symmetrical. So we could go like a triangle with 2 slashes through it. Ooh, an upside down triangle, actually. Because I kind of like the big, medium, small, something like that. I think 3 slashes is too much. What if we did... It's like, it's already got a circle, so this is going to be inside of a circle. We could do like another circle with a line. Or we could do like 2 wavy boys, like that. We could do... We could make the Japanese rage symbol. It's like a bulging vein. Of course, that would look really weird on his tummy. We could do... let's see... Haven't done anything with the square yet. What if we did like a rectangle? And then 2 bars inside? What if we did that vertically? Kind of like that. Kind of like that one. Could we do something fancy with those 3 sections? Could we put like a dot And a circle and then a big circle, maybe? No, that's stupid. That looks like a traffic light. What if we did... What if we, like, modified it a little bit? What if we, like, came out the top and bottom? What if it was like that? What if it was like that? I kind of like that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like it without the dots in the middle. Dude, you should make it a honeycomb because he's a bear. Like a beehive.
So I like that, but just like a hexagon.
No, like a beehive. Like not like a honeycomb. Just do like a whole beehive.
Just like
Winnie the Pooh, because he's
Yeah.
a bear.
I don't think that's going to translate well.
He could spit bees out of his mouth as a special power.
You should tell chat and everybody else listening about, you know, we've talked about cageism on the chat, but it would be nice to hear it from one of the players' mouths.
Did you talk about the pamphlet I made?
I'm looking right now to see if I have one nearby. I think I did. Oh man. Yep, I got it right here. I need to fold it. Let's see. So you go ahead and talk. I'll fold and present.
Okay, I have one. I have the original draft here with me. So,
It's so silly and it's the best.
so stupid. I literally just finished my Magic draft. I went 6-3.
Hey, nice.
Yeah, it was free, and I won like 2,000 gems, which is like $12 of the premium currency. So it was pretty great. Anyway, so yeah, dude, when we landed on the island, we were in these cages, and so we had nothing else. So I was like super adamant about, dude, we have to keep the cages. They're so useful. We could use them as a ladder. We could use them as a storage. We could use them as a shelter. You know, we could do so much stuff with it. And so it kind of became this obsession. And we jokingly named it Nicolas Cage because it's a cage. And ever since then, we've been celebrating the cage. And then there was like one time that we escaped into the cage. Like, we had found a butt ton of gold, and we got attacked by all these goblins, and all the gold disappeared and like melted. And one of the other players was talking to like some ghost, and it turned out that it was Nicolas Cage, and he manifested as a god in the world and helped us escape. It was quite good.
And he gave you blessings.
Yeah, he gave us blessings, but you have to show the pamphlet. Because
Yeah,
the
give me a
blessing
second.
pamphlet.
I'm freehanding, Chris. Give me a second.
Where's my SpongeBob meme when I need it?
Ha 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 ha. I think I'm just gonna go straight across the middle. How's that look? It's a little off-centered. I think I can make it thicker. It really does look like Oriental. Okay, yes. So I'm free-handed. Get out of here. Cageism and You, Volume 13, The Powers Within.
Oh yeah. So part of the blessing of cageism is that we have to like get new followers, and so the joke was always, well, we just leave a pamphlet. And John was like, you haven't made a pamphlet. You don't have materials to make a pamphlet. So one day I was bored at work and I made a pamphlet. So now he can't say we can't leave a pamphlet.
I mean, you gotta respect the commitment to the craft.
And the manta cage that was created just out of a joke from the game. Because we had talked about converting the manticores because they spoke English.
Common. English wouldn't have existed back then, Chris, because D&D was a real world. Stop messing with fantasy.
They spoke English in Lord of the Rings, right?
D&D's not Lord of the Rings, Chris.
Says who?
Says everybody who says the word halfling.
Exactly, right?
So what is it? Cageism is the belief that Nicolas Cage himself is able to help those in need, when they need it most. Following in the footsteps of the Academy Award winning actor will earn you favor, and you can get neat powers and hope in grim dark times. To be a good actor, you have to be something like a criminal, to be willing to break the rules, to strive for something new. Are these quotes from actual Cage?
Yeah, he said that. That's a Nicolas Cage quote.
You have to be something like a criminal?
Yeah!
What in the world does that even mean?
I don't know, dude. He's so weird.
He is an odd one.
So yes, the blessings. Okay, so first off, before we get into the blessings of Cageism, Chris, I need to give you a little DM behind the scenes thing that's not really going to be a spoiler or whatever, but I think it's really going to increase your appreciation of Cageism. So the cages that you guys were in, you guys were all prisoners on a ship, and the premise of the adventure was that you're dropped off on this deserted island. There was a dungeon there. To escape, you had to go down through the dungeon and escape out into the Underdark to your freedom, right? So that was like your only recourse.
That
was the plan. Okay, that was the plan. Now, all of that changed before the game even started, when Luke rolled 2 nat 20s on his stats. Because as you guys were in that cage, like when you guys were being transported to the island and I was describing everything, I was like, oh crap, they're going to kill these commoners that are transporting them in the boat, and then they're going to go back to the ship. They're not going to want to go to the island because players don't like to be captured. They don't like their agency taken away from them. They don't like to move in the direction that they're being pushed. So the original adventure did not include you guys being in cages. I came up with that on the cuff because I knew that if you were like tied up, Set was going to roll an 18 and it'd be like a 28 to break his restraints free, and would kill everybody and go back to the ship.
That would have been so good. We would have been pirates from day one.
You would have been, and I would have been like, well, crap, we're going to stop the session there. I have no idea what's happening because all of my notes are completely useless. But anyway, the cages weren't even originally in any of the adventure. And I find that completely hilarious.
And now it's the whole adventure.
I know. You guys even managed to bring those stupid cages with you on the ship.
I forgot. Dude, they're on the boat. They're on the boat with us.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you're bringing them with you to freedom.
Yeah, Nick Cage and Luke Cage.
They're now free range cages.
Amazing.
So anyway, so when you guys summoned Nicolas Cage, you rolled very high. I made you guys made Brad roll a D100, so that which I was like, that's akin to summoning a patron, not a patron, like a deity.
Like divine intervention is like
Yeah.
your level, minus like a certain amount on a D100, and you have to
Yeah,
get above or whatever.
And so I think he rolled a 69, and I was like, well, that's prophetic. It's not low enough, but I can't not make it happen now. And yeah, so we had Nicolas Cage show up. I made the goblins ambush you guys because I didn't know what the heck to do next. And then we ended up coming up with blessings because I wanted to reward you guys, and you guys didn't have a lot of experience. And so we came up with these the blessings, and I themed them off of Nicolas Cage movies. So we have the blessing of the Wicker Man, and that is your blessing, right, Mac?
I have to pull out my pamphlet again. I believe so. The bees and the eyes.
Yeah,
yes.
Any follower blessed by the Wicker Man is able to hex their enemies, but only once a day, lest you become too dependent. Oh, you missed an O. Too dependent.
Dang it. This is
on the help of the spirit of the Wicker Man. So yeah, so a lot of these blessings I reskinned from just like regular class abilities. So this one is like the Warlock's Hex. And it's skinned like bees will come out of Mac's mouth and bother with the person to, give them disadvantage on dexterity or strength or whatever.
And they take extra damage because of the bees.
Because of the bees.
Bees, they're in my eye.
Not the bees, not the bees. Sorry, I'm trying to paint here while... I'll let you read the next one, Chris.
Okay. This is the face-off, right?
Yeah.
Follower blessed by the face-off is able to use... Oh, wow. I really butchered this. Any follower blessed by the face-off is able to use the clone of a face they have seen and wear it as their own for as long as they choose. Like Nicolas Cage, you can hide in a crowd of non-believers.
So yeah, essentially it's the Warlock invocation of Mask of Many Faces, which lets you cast Disguise Self at will. And Brad really hasn't found much of a use for it. Like, I figured it would be more useful than it has been, but I think he just doesn't think about it.
Well, we also have been only around really like goblins.
Yeah, that's true. But still, I mean, he could have turned into like a bugbear or like a hobgoblin or something.
Or even on the boat, he could have turned in like to one of the drow.
Yes, and he still can.
But we're being attacked by the big kraken monster.
That is true. So it'd be a good opportunity for him to shank somebody and assume their form during all of the chaos.
I want to push someone off the boat so bad. I can't believe I grew my hand back. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was some wild rolls. I still am so frustrated with you guys not taking that dagger.
Oh man, why? That mummy was terrible.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad thing. But like I keep trying to give you guys stuff and you just like go the opposite direction. It's amazing.
I fail to see why that's bad. Pretty fantastic.
Okay. I think that's really helped with the little mustard pads. I think we're done with them, guys.
He looks good.
We oh, I didn't do the other hands, the axes. Maybe I'll paint these off stream. Because it is 11:03. This is what it looked like with the axes on.
I just can't wait till he just like whips out the axe and shoots. You're like, what do I do?
Yeah, I'm just gonna be
Good
like,
luck, bud.
show me your strength. It's gonna be great.
Good luck, buddy.
They almost kind of look like spectral axes. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to bring the show to a close. We didn't get to work on Shurg tonight, but I think that's okay.
I can't wait. He's gonna be so big.
He's going to be so big. Like, I don't have the original in here. It's out with my other minis. But man, he's just like he's so big. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for letting me hang out. I had fun.
So yeah, well, we need to read the last one. The last one is the Blessing of the Ghost Rider. Any follower blessed by the Ghost... Oh, hold on, let me move my mic. Any follower blessed by the Ghost Rider is able to increase their durability by summoning a flaming skull visage for a time. Ghost Rider's gift is not to be abused and is available once per day. The quote is, my daddy once said, if you don't make a choice, the choice makes you. Ooh, that's actually a pretty good quote. Yeah, so Set, the guy with one charisma, one constitution, it gives him temporary hit points, doesn't it? No, it ups his AC. It gives him like +2 AC, makes him harder to hit. Because I ran the math on it, and giving him more hit points wouldn't have helped. Like, he had so little hit points. He has so little hit points that we had to like mess with it in D&D Beyond so that he wouldn't die when he leveled up by making his hit points go negative. So I was like, well, let's make him even harder to hit. That'll probably be better. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wild. So, before we leave, we need to find somebody to raid. Let's see here. Come, take a walk with me as I sing a sea shanty about who should we raid today. I'm going to swap this to Topcast. Twitch.tv. Oh, my browser's being dumb. Hold on. I gotta sign in real quick. I was having an issue with it. Remembering settings and stuff.
Oh yeah, earlier with the update.
Yes. All right, so we need to. I'm trying to. We need to go to not discover Luna. We want to browse, and we want to go to categories. Right? Categories? It's been a while since I've done this.
I genuinely have no idea.
Games. That's right. And then we want to look for Dungeons and Dragons. And then we want to sort by least amount of viewers. We want to help some dudes out. You know what? I have a better idea. Silky Smooth is streaming tonight. No, please don't play that. Please don't do the ad. I've really appreciated Selkie and gotten to know him soon.
Oh, cool.
Gotten to know him recently. Hey, there we go. All right, we're gonna raid Selkie.
Hmm.
So I'm new to this as well. I think I need to go to the creator dashboard, stream manager. We're gonna raid Selkie Smooth. Y'all tell him I said hi. He's super fantastic. I'm gonna hang out in there a little bit as well. But he's playing Tarkov, which is like it's like a super gritty in that it's like really tough. Like if it's like a first-person shooter, escape from a certain area type thing. And but like if you die, you lose like all your progression. It's like super duper hard, like endurance runs. Yeah. Tell him I said hi, and see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out.
Bye, buddy.
Thanks for hanging out, Chris. I
have fun.
I have stopped streaming.
I hung out in the stream too on my phone, so maybe your average viewer count went up.
Man, I sure hope so. That would be fantastic.
Lou said it's been 4 this entire time, at least.
Oh, nice.
She said it was up to like 8.
Did the raid go through?
I have no idea.
Raid now. Oh, I have to click the raid now button. I may have messed it up.
Now it's going.
Okay, now it's going.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna hop out of voice chat and hang out in Silky's channel for a little bit and say hi and stuff because it's kind of customary.
Bye, y'all.
Be good.
Be good.